Let's get straight into today's story, shall we? Because we've got huge amounts to get through. The government has won its appeal to keep almost 140 migrants at the Bell Hotel in Epping. A win for the Home Office, but branded an injustice by local residents. Senior judges overturned an earlier order to move the men out by mid-September, saying the first ruling was seriously flawed.
Therefore, we grant permission to appeal both to Somani and to the Home Secretary against the grant of the interim injunction. We allow the appeals and we set aside the injunction imposed on 19 August 2025.
Well, that was live yesterday, live from the courtroom, and it was pretty damning, to be honest with you, on Epping County Council and the previous judge involved in the interim judgment. But the decision has reignited anger, as it would in Epping and indeed across the country. More protests are expected around the UK this weekend. Now, joining me now is GB News national reporter Jack Carson, who I believe is in Milton Keynes, where there is a protest organised for this afternoon. Jack, what's going on there?
Yeah, well, protests here well underway. We've got both sides. Just come with me a second. So this is the stand up to racism, the counter protest of the protest that's happening here. We've got flags of Unison, the National Education Union, Unite, big banner at the front saying refugees are welcome here. I stand for human rights. Asylum seekers are welcome. Plenty of signs from Stand Up to Racism saying stop racist reform UK. And round here, if we switch, you can see the Union flags, the St George's flags, all of the people here protesting the migrant hotel. This is the MK Hotel in Milton Keynes. That is what they are protesting. Now let's speak to the organiser of the protest here today, Conor Sadler. Thanks so much for joining us and speaking to us. Why have you wanted to come and protest today?
Yeah, so no problem. We're here today because we're not here because of their skin colour. We're not here because of race. We're not here because of what they look like. We're here because this country has a serious issue at the moment, and we have to pay for these people, and we're fed up of paying for these people that have come here and they get everything for free. They get healthcare for free, dental care for free, free phones, phone contracts, contact lenses, glasses, absolutely everything they get for free, and we've had enough of it. We're a fed up nation, we're a fed up people, and again, there's people over there shouting racist, far right. There's no far right, there's no hooligans here, there's no racism here, it's nothing to do with skin colour. But we're here as well because, in particular, this hotel, one of them's been jailed for robbery. There was reports, I have to say reports, otherwise I get locked up, of these migrants taking photos of primary school children, and bear in mind there's a primary school just a 5-minute walk down the road, and there's a primary school 5 minutes walk down the road, and they were taking photos of primary school children, reports. Also with that, there's just over there on the other side behind them lot, there is a petrol station. They've smashed that up, they've set fire extinguishers off in there, so it's not just that we're here because of what they look like, it's because of what they've done, and we don't want to pay for them no more.
Well, we apologise for the language that people may have heard in the background from people chanting, both sides seemingly getting obviously quite intense here at these protests. What would you say to Home Office Minister Dame Angela Eagle, who said after the Epping result yesterday that they want to close all of the hotels by the end of the next Parliament, by the time of the next Parliament, they want to do this in an orderly fashion. Is that not good enough, trying to close them in the next few years? Is there a reason why you want these closed sooner rather than later?
Yeah, no. When they say they're going to close them, they're going to close the hotels, but where are they going to put them? They're going to put them in houses, social housing, flats, HMOs, all around us, and we do not want that. It's not that we hate them, it's just it's the government that have put us in this situation, and if they're going to close the hotels, I ask the question, where are they going to put them? Because if we don't want them, and if they want to accept them, I'll actually say, let's call a referendum tomorrow, and anyone who votes for the refugees or asylum seekers to stay here, anyone on the left should have their tax raised to 70% minimum and should free up a space in their house. If they want them here, they can pay for them and make the space for them. And anyone on the right doesn't pay anything and doesn't make any space for them.
So the comments and the plans of people like Nigel Farage and the Reform UK leader of kind of processing centres and areas where they don't go, so they're not in hotels, would that not just cause another issue for the community where those processing areas are? That community where those processing areas are would also be maybe upset that that's where they're being processed. What for you is the way around this?
Yeah, so I do agree. It's just going to cause more issues. The more we spread them about everyone, Operation Scout, and spread them in between communities, it's just going to cause even more issues. But what I would say, and I think the solution for all of this is just deport them. I personally think just deport them, unless if they are actually fleeing war, like women and children of Ukraine are. Then we can't send them back to a war zone. But these countries, at the top of the list, they're not coming from war zones. And actually, at the top of the list, a lot of these people are coming from countries that commit more crime and more sexual crime than British people. And that's fact. If you look per capita, per 10,000, per 100,000, these people commit more sexual crimes than we do. And that's not what we want. We have our own issues in our country with our own people own British people that are committing these heinous crimes as well. I do agree, yes, but why import more people that commit it more of a higher rate? For example, Afghans that commit it 22 times higher of a sexual crime than British people. We don't want that in our communities, and we don't want it spread across in places. So like you say with Nigel Farage saying he's going to shut the hotels, but where are we going to put them?
Conor Sadler from the protest here at the hotel, thank you so much for joining us and of course giving us those views of that protest. We'll try and speak to the other side a little bit later on as well. You can see they're here in numbers as well, say with their banner there, refugees welcome, we wish you well. Plenty of people here gathering in Milton Keynes. As I mentioned, we're just by a service station. This is the hotel, the MK Hotel, where they've been housed for some time now. Plenty of people here, of course, you know, with very strong views that they're having heard today at this protest.
Jack, is there much of a police presence there?
Let's show you a bit of the police presence. So we've got one officer with a camera. We've got a couple of police vans here as well. You can see actually in front of the counter protesters here to the protest a wall of police officers as well. So there's plenty of police that are here to, of course, make sure everyone here is safe and actually to make sure that people can properly protest safely. That's the main aim of the police here, to make sure that both sides can have their voices heard and protest as their right is.
OK, Jack, and finally, when you do go to talk to the anti-racist protesters on the other side, could you just ask them how many of them are actually currently or willing to do so in the future housing the migrants they say are welcome? Be very interested to hear their replies.
Yeah, well, it's a fair question. It's a fair question, Dawn, because as you heard from Conor said, he is concerned about if they're not in hotels, where are they going to be? So it's a position that both sides probably, are unsure where it's possible to put to people. Of course, the government mentioned in that case in their arguments against the temporary injunction at Epping, and one of the parts of the ruling, of course, was that if they are not to be housed in the Epping hotel, there would have to be space in the system found somewhere else. So it's a concern, as we can see from this protest here now in Milton Keynes. There's protests across the rest of the country. There's lots of different areas that are concerned about if they're not going to be housed there, where are they going to be housed? And also we do know that off the back of the Epping decision, even though that temporary injunction was overruled, and we of course have waited the court hearing in October, there are 13 councils, it's reported, still considering to bring legal action to remove asylum seekers from their local authorities, and some of them, we have heard, include to be Labour-run authorities as well. So this issue, Dawn, is not going away. Okay.